Hey everyone, it's Marco here and welcome to my third video covering the Steam Summer Sale, this time giving you 16 great strategy games with some amazing discounts. From real-time strategy to Forex to turn-based tactics, I'm sure there's at least one game here for you to enjoy. Like what about Age of Mythology Retold? This is for all my RTS fans looking to relive one of the classics in the genre. But also if you're new to real-time strategy, it's also one of the easiest to get into, especially with that campaign. The Retold edition comes with better graphics, more quality of life features, more content, and just a whole bunch of other improvements. It's also a title that has quite an active player base if you're into the multiplayer side of things. And yes, it looks very similar to Age of Empires, but it plays very differently too, where various gods, monsters, and humans will collide into these crazy battles. It's got Greek, Norse, Egyptian, Atlantean, even Chinese mythology if you get that premium edition, but they're all so cool to play with. Gameplay is so much fun, and yeah, on sale Age of Mythology Retold is 50% off, or like 15 bucks. Such a great deal for a game like this. But if you'd prefer something turn-based and a bit of tactical action going on, Phantom Brigade is right up your alley. And boy has this game come a long way since its release, with the 2.0 update making it feel all fresh and exciting again. The gameplay here is very interesting though, where you'll be playing out your moves like you're editing a video and then watching them unfold like you're directing a Michael Bay film. It took me some time to get used to, but yeah, once you get the hang of it, watching that carnage unfold is very pleasing on the eyes. Plus, upgrading your mechs back at your mobile base is also very satisfying. You're changing all the colors and all the little bells and whistles, and creating a team filled with roles ranging from sniper to melee to heavy. It's very cool depending on your playstyle. Sure, it's got one or two issues, but if you want to get it on sale, it's 60% off or like 12 bucks. So if you like your turn-based tactics games like XCOM and of course BattleTech, then maybe go try out Phantom Brigade today. Then following that is Hexarchy, this fast-paced 4X strategy game that uniquely blends the empire building genre with some deck building mechanics, giving you these quick yet intense matches. Here you'll take your civilization from the ancient to the modern times, and everything you do is done via playing a card from your deck. Here you will establish cities, construct buildings, recruit units, research technology, and a whole lot more. There's no diplomacy going on, just straight up conquering, plus you'll be wanting to earn as many victory points as humanly possible. That comes with managing resources, expanding your territory, and then making some difficult tactical decisions to outmaneuver your opponents in these 30 to 60 minute sessions. It's fun, it's fast, and it's very focused. It comes with different modes like single player skirmish to cooperative multiplayer. And get this, on sale it's 90% off. It's going for like $2. That's the price of like a fancy baguette here in France. So if you want a quick fix that's super fun with low commitment, then maybe go try out Hexarchy today. And then coming up next is Knights of Honor 2, a game that's a bit like Crusader Kings meets Total War. In this medieval grand strategy title, you're the king trying to take over Europe. To do this, you'll need to manage the various provinces, gather your armies, and do a little diplomacy on the side and maybe some espionage here and there. So yeah, while it does have these big decisions going on, it also comes with a little bit of that real-time strategy action too. Again, it's a bit like Total War, maybe not as complex or detailed, but it's still very cool, especially when you've got these massive armies to take care of. Now, many are saying that the game has been abandoned, but I guess the devs have just finished it, so it still comes with a few issues, which is a bit annoying, so what you see here is what you get. But on sale, you can get it for 70% off, or like $13. So if you're looking for a game that's a mix of, say, like Crusader Kings and Total War, then maybe go check out Knights of Honor 2 today. Then following that is this great title called Shadow Gambit, The Cursed Crew, which is the strategy RPG not to be missed. The sneaky tactical genre isn't for everyone, but this will be a good place to start if you're new to it all. It's from the studio behind Desperados 3 and Shadow Tactics, where in this real-time stealth strategy game, you'll be thrown into the cursed boots of a supernatural pirate crew on a mission to outsmart the Inquisition. What makes it interesting though is that your ghost ship, the Red Marley, lets you capture memories, aka quick save, just to help rewind time to perfect your plans. These plans involve having you stealth, strategize, and sabotage your way through this very great looking island world. So if you're into your stealthy, sneaky, clever missions and a little bit of pirate shenanigans, Shadow Gambit: The Cursed Crew is on sale for 75% off, or like $10, which isn't bad for such a fun title. Then up next we have the title Old World, which is for all the fans of games like Civilization or Crusader Kings. This is an awesome and extremely fun turn-based 4X strategy game that is centered around Mediterranean ancient history. The plot is driven by a unique character and dynasty system in which your leaders are just simple mortal beings. They will be aging, and their decisions made through scripted events will create this intimate and dynamic narrative. The AI is not absolutely useless, and it feels like the devs truly care about the game. Plus, Old World has several key features that set it apart. For example, the orders system limits your actions each turn, forcing some strategic prioritization. Then there's the character-driven gameplay where you'll be managing noble families and their ambitions, which adds a political layer to your empire. The tactical combat is also pretty cool, with units having simple but effective abilities that reward clever maneuvering. And what's great is that on sale it's 75% off, or like $10, which isn't too bad. So if you haven't tried out Old World yet, now is the time to do so. Then up next on the list is Shadow Empire, which is a kind of 4X meets wargame meets RPG, making it quite an interesting experience that's hard to beat. The title is just this incredibly deep and rewarding sci-fi 4X that blends detailed wargaming with a powerful character-driven story. You will be leading a nation on a brand new planet every time you play, dealing with everything from a cast of flawed, ambitious characters to a complex logistics system. And sure, it comes with a steep learning curve, but yes, the game shines with that deep customization. Plus, every world offers a unique strategic challenge where you'll be fighting giant dinosaurs or struggling to find fuel on a barren moon. Now, recently the devs decided to include AI art, which is I think why the reviews are now mixed, which I don't truly understand, but at least you can turn it off in the settings. And right now, Shadow Empire is 50% off, or like $20, and is worth checking out if you value your gameplay over flashy visuals. Then coming up next on the list is Door Kickers 2, this epic real-time with pause military sim that's currently sitting with overwhelmingly positive reviews on Steam. In this hyper-tactical sequel, you'll be commanding a Black Ops squad and trying to take down some terrorists in this Middle Eastern setting. It's very deep and the planning phase is very cool. Like, you'll be manually drawing out your chosen paths, establishing your go codes, and then just sitting back and watching your squad execute with hopefully some well-planned moves. So yeah, the game gives you an objective, but it's up to you to decide how to get there. And luckily there's that pause function that allows you to rethink what's going on. The game is action-packed, it's intense, and will definitely get your heart pumping. You'll be taking cover, blasting through destructible walls, going into stealthy mode. It makes all for some epic outcomes. Plus it's on sale for 40% off, or like $15. So if you're into your tactical battles, well then Door Kickers 2 is a must play. Following that is Nebulous Fleet Command, this sim-heavy tactical space game where you are here to fight. You'll be taking command of a fleet of warships that are tailored to your playstyle, and then taking part in some epic battles. You get to control each aspect of your units down to the specific mounts set in this 3D battle space where enemies can come at you from any direction. What's cool though is that damage is simulated for individual components, meaning that if you plan and execute well enough, you can do some serious damage. Fleet management is very cool, there's so much detail going on with that as well. Plus on sale, it's half price right now, so like $15, which isn't bad, even though it's still in early access. If you are looking for your next space game and you haven't tried out Nebulous Fleet Command, now is the time to do so. Following that is BattleTech, another mech-based tactical title that's very similar to Phantom Brigade I mentioned earlier, but I think this one is just slightly better. Personally, it feels more like XCOM meets Mech Commander, which, yeah, is right down my alley. In the game, there's this intergalactic civil war going on, and you'll be leading a team of mechs that can't help but get drawn into this battle. Your squad will get to pilot their own mechs, and the customization is incredible. You'll also be able to upgrade your weapons, unlock new abilities as you level up your pilots, and a whole lot more. For those who are new to the game, it might feel a bit complex and challenging, but again, once you get into it, so much fun to play. Plus on sale, BattleTech is 75% off, or like $10, which, yeah, to me is a great deal if you haven't played it yet and just looking for some intense mech-on-mech action. Then following that is another popular 4X title called Humankind. You'll start off as a primitive Neolithic tribe and then slowly build your way through the different eras. There are tons of cultures to choose from, so you can go from Babylonians to the Mayans to the British. The choice is up to you. It's all about just creating a unique empire that's fun to play with. Now naturally it gets compared to games like Civilization quite a bit, but some might prefer the art style here. Some of the combat mechanics are pretty cool, and the general gameplay differs quite a bit in some aspects too. Like, it might feel more like you're building your very own civilization here. Now, it's not without its issues, like it can be a bit boring at times, but hey, on sale, Humankind is 75% off, or like $12, which again, isn't bad if you weren't a fan of games like Civ 7 and you just want something a little different. Following that, we have Aliens Dark Descent, a squad-based tactical game set in the iconic Aliens universe. In the game, you'll guide your Marines through atmospheric missions against the terrifying xenomorph threat, balancing survival, resource management, and the occasional panic-inducing ambush like those debit orders you forgot to cancel, and now it's the first of the month. Anyways, the gameplay comes with a real-time with pause combat system that lets you think on your feet all while managing squad positioning and your abilities. So similar to a game like XCOM, but slightly different, and honestly I think XCOM fans will love this game. The tension throughout is next level, and it feels like you're actually living through an Aliens movie. It also differs, like you can't micromanage, you can't like control your individual troops, it's done with auto-targeting, which some might prefer, but overall the game is still quite a challenge. And on sale, Aliens Dark Descent is 70% off, or like $12, and is a great deal if you love your tactical games and looking for some immersion. Then next on the list is 911 Operator, a unique sim and strategy game where you'll be taking on the role of an emergency dispatcher. In the game, you'll be managing emergency calls and dispatching police, fire, and medical units across several real-world cities. Like, you know that very popular Dispatch game? Well, I'm guessing this is where they got their idea from, who knows? Now, while the premise might not sound very exciting, trust me, this game gets very intense very quickly. You must carefully read incoming reports, ask the right questions, and then send the appropriate vehicles to handle everything from minor false alarms to intense life or death situations. Personally, I have a love-hate relationship with this game. Like, there's just so much fast-paced decisions that come your way, and I often had to quit just because I just couldn't handle it, but eventually I came back for more. If you haven't played it yet, 911 Operator is 80% off, or like $3, and I highly recommend it for players who like juggling plates, except now it could be human lives. And then next up is Bomber Crew, a challenging strategy game where you'll be managing a World War II bomber. It's similar to other games in the franchise, and the core loop here involves picking your crew, customizing your plane, and taking off in dangerous missions over enemy territory. You'll need to assign members to critical stations like piloting, engineering, the gunnery, radio operating, all while keeping an eye out on the fuel, the ammo, and the hull damage. This now means frantic micromanagement and permadeath that will always keep you on your toes. And then when you take damage from incoming enemy attacks, it becomes a high-stakes scramble to patch up your plane, put out the fires, and tend to wounded crewmates before things spiral out of control. And although it might get a bit repetitive, the chaotic action and charming art style make it very addictive. And overall, it's just a very intense and rewarding title that will truly test your ability to stay cool under extreme pressure. Also, right now, Bomber Crew is 85% off, or like $2, which is An insane deal, so maybe go check it out if you want some light-hearted adrenaline-pumping action. And then rounding up the list, we've got Iron Harvest, this slightly rocky RTS title that's still worth checking out. Set in this alternate 1920s reality just after the Great War, you'll get to control these cool diesel punk mechs in either single player or in co-op campaigns. Now the gameplay is very much like Company of Heroes. In other words, squad-based gameplay where cover is your friend, fighting for control points is key, and the cutscenes are nice, and the campaign itself is pretty decent. Like, honestly, sometimes it's hard to tell the difference between the two, except obviously the mechs. Overall, the devs have nailed the vibe of the game. Like, if you're into mechs, you're gonna love it. Now, it's not without its issues, like the pathfinding, for example, isn't the best, and I wouldn't get it for multiplayer unless you're playing it with a bunch of friends. But on sale, Iron Harvest is 85% off, or like $4, which is honestly an incredible deal, especially if you're looking for a game like Company of Heroes, but with mechs and just an overall solid campaign. But that wraps up my video. A huge shout out to my channel members, it always means so much to me. But other than that, it's Marco here from Easily Distracted Games, and as always, don't stop gaming.